Well, hey friends, welcome to this episode of the Daring Grace podcast. My name is Brittany. I am the executive director of Cross Connection and have the honor to lead this program, this camp, this nonprofit, whatever you want to call it, through a lot of seasons. And today we're going to talk about a season that was pretty hard for our camp, but I think more difficult for our churches, and I would say maybe even lasting more difficult for our students to kind of grapple with and figure out how things move forward. And so excited to kind of dive into some stuff and to talk about what Daring Grace looks like on the other side of conflict and in the middle of conflict, because it's so important for us to realize that in this world we are not agreeing on much but Jesus. And so how do we move forward with that as the goal? So today we get to talk to Taylor Bodenheimer. Taylor's on staff with us and is going to share a little bit about her experience at a church that I used to work at, that she is now serving and went to growing up and all of the things. And so I think it's been a really good time. So Taylor, first of all, hey, thanks for doing this. Hey, and second, tell us how you've been since staff. When were you on staff? What did you do? And what have you been doing since?
I've been good. I was on staff in 2015. It's been over 10 years.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It hurts a little bit. Yeah. I was on staff in Asheville when we still stayed at Central. So we were staying in the middle of downtown. Absolutely loved it. Every second of it. Since being on staff, I've gone back to cook several different weeks. I have taken my youth kids back, led CMGs, which has been awesome. Last summer, my name was on the cooler for the first time, which was a full circle moment. It was a good time. But these days I am in grad school to become a board certified behavior analyst. So I work with kids with autism, teaching daily living skills and behaviors and coping strategies and things like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
On the side, I am the children's director at Epworth United Methodist Church.
Yeah, what a perfect position for you, first of all. And second of all, a lot of cool stuff. You've done a lot of great work since being on staff, and we're just so grateful that you said yes to talk to us about what does it look like to be daring in conflict. So for context, I worked at Epworth for a couple of years. 2014, 15, 16, 17, maybe something like that. And I got to lead music there and be a part of the ministry there. Incredible church in Concord, North Carolina. Just so grateful for my time there. And what we're talking about is like disaffiliation, because Epworth somehow didn't disaffiliate, but was very close. And there was a big just split, I think is the nicest way to put it. And you were sharing with me before we started, like you didn't disaffiliate it by 12, so that by 12 votes, which is a lot. And so I guess set the stage for us about just what that conflict looked like for you. How did it shape those years for you? Because it was a pretty heavy topic of conversation. I didn't experience that conversation. I was out before it started. So how did it affect you? And subsequently, when everything kind of like split in half, like how was that for you? It was a church you like were a student in, right? So like, you saw it all the way through. So what does it look like for you?
If we back up all the way to 1977, that's when my family started going to Epworth. So my mom's family started going in 1977, and then my dad's family joined shortly after 2005. So for the last 20 some years, that has been my family church. All of my people go there. We do weddings there, funerals there, we do birthday parties there, all of the above. So that building itself has housed a lot of good memories, a lot of bad memories, and it has been pivotal in my life since the beginnings. Around 2019, right before COVID, I remember, and I will say that I am not the world's best Methodist in the sense that I don't do politics. So if you asked me to go to a church council meeting, I wasn't going to be there. I don't even know what happens in church council, what's a trustee. I don't
You're
know.
okay.
It's not my business. I'm just a girl and I'm hanging out over here. So I was in the beginning, very blind to a lot of what was happening. And I remember they were talking about somebody was coming to talk about being gay in the Bible. And that's literally what I was told. There's some lady coming to talk about being gay and the Bible, and you need to show up. And I was like, we're going there. I'll be there. Let's do it.
Woohoo.
I was like, oh, I don't know what we're going to get into. I might be throwing
What
some
could go
hands.
wrong? Yeah.
Right. I was like, this is scary. And I was like, why are we having this conversation? And nobody could give me an answer that I truly understood. It was very like, because we're going to vote. And I was like, vote on what? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, okay, whatever. So I show up and I remember the conversation itself was very eye-opening and very good. Like talking about like reading the scripture literally and like not like over reading into it. And you know, we can sit here and say this is a sin and this is a sin and this is a sin, but that's not your job. And it was a great conversation. I was like, oh, so we all feel this way. Some lady came and she talked to us, she agreed with what I had to say. Let's move on. Right? No. I was vastly incorrect. So as time went on, COVID hit, the shutdown hit, and when the world started to open back up, I started to step away from Epworth. I could tell when I was showing up on Sunday mornings that there was conflict, I guess, but I didn't have words for it. I didn't have words for the lack of welcome I felt on Sunday mornings. Like it already had this us versus them divide, and I didn't know why. Like again, I was still very confused. Like at this point in my life again, I didn't even know what annual conference was. Like I didn't understand these bigger pictures. I just knew that Epworth was my home and it didn't feel like home. So I stopped going. And I stopped going for about a year. And then it turned into a little bit longer. And then I started understanding, right? I started asking more questions. I started really kind of diving into what does this vote mean? What does it look like? Why are we voting? And in the middle of all of that, me trying to start to understand, I actually helped form a nonprofit that spun off of what we had done with Cross Connection. And we were going into villages and we were building schools. We were bringing school supplies. We were doing VBS and we were intentionally meeting the community and leaving them with the tools and supplies. So when we're not there, they could continue and build. We started food programs at schools and did a whole bunch of good stuff. And I did that with the people that disaffiliated. So I was getting from my mom and my grandparents this, hey, this is the vote, this is what's happening, this is why I'm choosing to vote against the disaffiliation, this is my personal beliefs. And then I would go to these meetings and they knew my stance. It was very clear how I felt about things. And they at the same time would have conversations about it, not feeling the same as me. So I would sit at these tables, and this is going to be a hard one for you, Brittany, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay, this is the eye-opening moment for me. And if I start crying, I told you I'm still talking to my therapist about this.
Yeah, it was hard.
We were sitting in the airport, coming back or going to Honduras, and you posted about Taylor and your engagement. And we all saw the post at the same time, sitting around the same table. And I remember I saw it first and I was so excited. I announced it. I was like, oh my gosh. And some friends at the table were less than excited. And the biggest part was, well, why did she have to post it? Why couldn't she have just kept it to herself?
Exactly.
I was like, because she's happy. And I'm sitting there like, dumbfounded because at that point you had already left Epworth, but they loved you. And that whole conversation, we love Brittany, but why'd she post that? Why did she announce that to the world? And I'm like, I'm sharing a table with these people. I am sitting at the worst dinner table right now. We were at Ruby Tuesdays in the middle of airport, and I couldn't leave. Like, I was stuck with them. There was no out for me. And I'm just sitting there like, okay. Like, I that was the first moment that it all started to click. And I just remember sitting at that table, and I want to say it was the start of our trip. And I was like, if this conversation comes up again, I'm going to have to walk away because I'm about to do something nasty. So that trip happened, and that kind of started a tiff in my relationship with those people, so to speak. The stories that came out after the vote. So somewhere around PEH really forming and all this stuff, and we get closer and closer to the vote, and I'm still not going to Epworth. And at that same time, the people that I'm in PEH with are asking me to host fundraisers. They're asking me to do these different things. And of course, right? Like, that's part of my job. But I would pick a day, and they're like, we have something that day. I'm like, what? They're like, just something. And there was like no context. I'm like, how weird that you don't tell me. And like, mind you, this is someone who I wouldn't say was like a second mom, but has been a mentor my entire life. Like, she's known me since I was born, since before I was born. And I'm like, this is so weird. And so time keeps passing, and these things keep popping up, and I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? Then the vote happened, right? And I didn't attend the vote because I hadn't been attending the church. And there were no absentee votes allowed, so you had to be in person. I am the most conflict avoiding person on the planet. So on top of I haven't been to church in a year, I was like, you can't catch me in that room.
Not for me.
Raising my hand for
No doubt.
nothing. I'm gonna stay out. I'm gonna pray that this does something good, and we're just gonna see. And we won. I can't say won. There is no right word. Nobody
No, there was no
won,
winning.
and there is no
No.
winning.
No.
But the church voted to not disaffiliate by 12. And I remember getting that news, and I was like, boy, because there was a running list in my head of who we would lose should the vote do that. And there was a running list in my head of who the church would lose should it go the other way, right? So it was like there were a lot of people you knew which party they aligned with, and a lot of people you didn't. And it was like a couple Sundays later, I don't know, we voted. The timeline is so blurry at this point. Anyway, it was enough time for them to establish their new church. Okay. They established their new church. They didn't have a building, but they had a name, they had a pastor, they were affiliated with the Global Methodist, and they had rented a room. And all of them attended church Sunday morning. All of them. And then they all went straight to their second service at their new church. They didn't really say goodbye. They didn't really, it was like they were all there. And then we all saw Facebook posts of them at their new church. We're like, we just saw you this morning. What the heck? And come to find out, all of the things that they were doing that they couldn't be at these fundraisers with me were meetings to build this new church, right? Meetings prior to the vote for what happens if this, that, and the third, right? So they start their new church, and that was a slap in the face. And I remember by that point, the church I'd been going to, I'd stopped going there for a myriad of reasons. And so I wasn't going anywhere. I just was not, I was like, I don't know what's happening in the church, but this is not for me. It's not it. It's not it. So it just became this thing of like tension. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to think about it, but we were all hurting. Like, we all,
Sure.
like, to walk in the sanctuary on Sunday mornings and see the empty pews and where people used to sit, and
Mm.
to just, like, it was mind-blowing.
First of all, that is the first time I've heard your airport story, so I'm sorry. And that you were in that position. My perspective of all of that, right? Like if you take the flip of it, Epworth was a place that I was the most vulnerable in my life. Taylor was actively dying the whole time I was there. It was it was the place I literally would drive from the hospital and take a bird bath in that bathroom behind the choir room
Oh,
and
yeah.
change clothes and be there, right? And I would do that on Wednesdays and Sundays, and those were the only people I saw, besides doctors and nurses. So it became a very sacred place for me because the people that I got to hang out with were so kind and wonderful, and just like I don't know where I'd be without that group of people, right? And it's some of the same people you're talking about that left and that were mad about me getting engaged or whatever. Like it's the same group of people, right, that I had walked shoulder to shoulder with in the hardest season of my life. And also some of the same group of people that when we started Honduras for Cross Connection were side by side, shoulder to shoulder partners, and so people that like had really been pretty influential in my journey, and saw me at my worst. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. That is the worst I've ever, as a human being, the worst I've ever been. Because we weren't out yet, but she was dying.
Right.
And so there was, part of me looks back and like, how did people miss that? The other part of it is they missed it because they didn't want to see it. Right. Yeah. Elizabeth came during that time and like got diagnosed with cancer right out of the gate. And I was actually talking to her. I still hang out with her daughter and was talking to her last week, and just like, Elizabeth was the first person to look at me and say, I know who you are and you're okay. You're safe. And she literally the first person in my life to do that. It happened in that building.
Yeah.
Like she was the first person to sit across the table and say, like, hold my hand and say, I know. And you're okay here. And listen, I knew I wasn't okay with everyone. Like that was obvious.
Right.
But like I knew that I was okay with her. And her sickness and eventually her passing away was so interesting, in a line of interesting things in my world, right? And I think I've said it before on here, but it bodes to say it in this context, because the fear of losing these people that you're talking about by saying that we were together and had been together for 5 years at that point, right? Like the friends, the jobs I thought I would lose and would have lost. I mean, let's just be very honest.
Yeah.
Like would have lost jobs here and at Epworth and at other churches I served during that time. The fear of letting those people down.
Yeah.
Or them thinking that my love for Jesus wasn't real, right? Or that it was something that, something that, just wasn't authentic because of this part of me, was terrifying,
Yeah.
It's what kept us not saying something for a long time. And especially our friends in Honduras, like the thought of our ministry there being, and has been, right, hurt because of me coming out, just is like heartbreaking. It's something that is real and I understand, and it's hard. And so like to think about, sorry,
you're fine.
To think about you all sitting around the table that day is a lot, because it was the scariest day. That was the scariest day of my life.
Right. And I just remember being so proud and like seeing that post, and I was like, yes.
And I have to like sit back in that and like hold the tension of like the good that they've done in the world is still real, right?
It is.
And the good that they have have implanted in my life and in your life and in others' lives. All of these people, not just a specific person, all of these
Right.
people that are, to use your language, so homophobic they'd start a new church, is that the good is still there. I think what I still hold tension for and still try to like process is like people are on a journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I had to come to grips with, Taylor came to grips with a lot sooner than I did, right? But
Mm-hmm.
like what I had to come to grips with is love is conditional.
Mm-hmm.
And the only love that isn't is Jesus's.
Right.
Right. And I had to come to grips with that, not just at Epworth, but at my home
Mm-hmm.
church, right? Like I had to come to
Right.
grips with that. I had to come to grips with that. And my family's been really beautiful and I'm so lucky. But not everyone, right? And like there's just like I've had to come to grips with like it is conditional. It is something
Yeah.
that is conditional and there is a way to lose someone's love, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
is real. And but what I have to believe about Jesus, because of just like the study that I've done and the time that I've spent. I mean, listen, if I could have gone a
Mm-hmm.
different way, sure as heck would have been a
Right.
lot easier. you know,
Right.
this choice that people think I made, my lord. If there was such a choice, I would have chosen differently. Because it would have been easier. But I yeah, I just like oh God, I'm such a people pleaser and want people to think highly of me, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
successfully or whatever. The thought of losing that was crippling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then once I was able to just like set the bomb off, right, while you were at the
Mm-hmm.
airport and everyone else was wherever they were, it's been the most freeing thing I've ever done.
Right. I
You
can
know, and it's
imagine.
like and it's just like I can live in and believe that God's love is unconditional because for so long I didn't. I just
Mm-hmm.
compared it to I just compared it to people's love, you know,
Right.
and I knew that it was conditional. I've known people's love was conditional from the go, right? Like I knew if this, then this, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there was no question in that. And so, yeah, it was interesting. And to your point of like that day that the new church started, you know, like that was a place I felt so safe and so loved. And it was hard to watch that Facebook live that happened that day and be like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love about this, right, is that there is redemption. And so I do
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure we spend as much time talking about redemption as we did the pain, because the
Yeah.
redemption arc for both of us, right, is really beautiful. And like watching Epworth take a turn and not just stay afloat, but in my opinion, thrive, right? Like you're running 70. That's insane. That's amazing. That's,
Yeah.
like there are so many churches not running that many people, healthy,
Mm-hmm.
good, vibrant churches. I mean, that's awesome. Like that's a celebration. I
Yeah.
think so often we're trying to get back to the way things were. And we just talked about the way things were. I don't want to go back there.
Not me.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I don't want to
true.
go back there. So
Yeah.
I'd rather be like happy with 70 than tension filled with 150. Like
Right.
give me the 70, baby. Like any
I would
day of the
rather be
week. And
happy with 20
that's what I'm
than
saying, right?
church
Like,
council with
yeah,
10.
exactly, right? Yeah, church council as a whole, we could do another podcast on that. But I
Right.
feel like there is so much like redemption here in this
Mm-hmm.
story because yeah, it was painful and what you all had to deal with from afar, right? Because I was not a part of
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, I guess I kind of was, but I wasn't a part of it in the way of like voting or being around. Like, I, you know, I don't know. It's hard to watch, and I watched it in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of churches. It wasn't just y'all's. I watched it in a lot of
Yeah.
churches that I'd served. I watched it in like thankfully the church I attend didn't have to vote, but a lot of people left when we came out. I mean, a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and so I watched it happen in pretty rapid rate. And so yeah, I think talk to me about like this. Yeah, the valley was deep, right? It doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
The pain, the betrayal, the confusion of it doesn't go away. That unfortunately will never be resolved, right? But talk to me about where you've seen God move since and all the cool things that you all are doing because it's pretty
Yeah.
freaking cool. Yeah.
So we started that Camp Chaos, and that actually brought 5 new members by the end of that summer, which was really awesome. It was a grandparents, no, 6 grandparents, mom, dad, and 2 kids.
Cool.
And it's been really cool to see that relationship grow, because now they're serving on church council. They're head of nurture. One of the kids has finally made it to youth. They're in liturgical dancing. So that's been really awesome to see. We actually also kept a couple families from the preschool, so we didn't lose everyone. We had when we started, like 4 kids and 2 youth that first year. Our kid numbers have dwindled a little bit just in life. They're aging up.
Kids are hard.
Kids are hard. But the youth group has since, I don't even know, we went from 2 to, I think we're at 15. And it's been really cool to see these kids grow and do. So when we started Camp Chaos, they were there. They were the staff. They were helping the kids. They were changing the pull-ups. They were warming up the lunches, all of that good stuff. And then that first summer we went back to Cross Connection. That was the year we went to, where did we go first? Outer Banks, I think. No.
Maybe.
Yeah,
or Wilkes.
maybe something. Yeah, one of the two. Maybe it was Wilkes first. But we went, and that was my first time going back to Cross Connection since before COVID, I think. And it was that particular youth group, all of their first time. So it was me and Jen.
What a game.
Leading the charge. We were the only 2 who had been. And we knew that was going to kind of, hopefully, the hope was kind of pull us back in, bring us all back together. And there, our kids, so we have 2 lovely bunches that hate talking to people. Okay, they will not make a friend if you ask them to. And that was a big struggle for them. We're in this new environment. We're around all these other people. Like, go make a friend. Stop hanging out with me. And at this point, I was still referred to as the chadult, is what we called me. I was the child adult. I was not the adult you went to if you needed help, but I was adult on paperwork. Okay,
that's good.
So they would want to, like, we would play games, and I'm like, y'all, stop hanging out with me. Go find somebody your age. Bye. And they ended up meeting this little girl who is now a part of our youth group. She comes to our church, her and her sister and her younger sister. They've gone back to camp with us. They have joined in all of our fun shenanigans and stuff. But the youth really kind of kept us going, because even on the days when we were like, I don't care, I'm not, they're like, what are we doing for Halloween? Are you playing trunk or treat? Nope. Am I supposed to?
Yeah, I guess.
Get to it. I was like, okay, fine. They're like, was our Easter egg hunt? I was like, okay, friends. But they kept us coming back. And that first year, because I had like 2 kids, right? They wanted a Christmas play. The church wanted a Christmas play. I was like, y'all, I got 2 kids. I got Mary and Joseph.
Amen. That's all you need.
Right. And so I put out a plea, and the previous person, and no fault to them in this is just how some people do, had the same Christmas play every year. Okay. The same script, the same motions, and it was easy, right? She was running a preschool. She didn't need to come up with a new something every year, and then she just took
That's
that
right.
and she did it at the church. Fine. Me? I got to make things complicated. I have to be the complicated one. So I said, guys, putting an all call out. If you exist in this church building and you want to be in the play, come on. So we had babies to, I think the oldest person was in their 80s.
Nice.
in
That's
this
awesome.
first church play. And the way we did it, because I was like, I'm not making anybody memorize lines. I'm not going to do any of that. We blocked it out. And Jen did every voice, every
For sure.
single one of
That's
them.
right on.
She stood off
That's
in
the
the
one.
corner and she was all the voices. And it was probably the biggest sunshine moment we had in a long time. It was fun. We were laughing. The old people, right, were messing up on stage. They were getting their parts wrong. They were missing their cues. The kids were missing their cues.
Beautiful.
I'm sitting down at the front pew going, get off the stage, right? Like, it was just a good time. And then we did cookies with Santa afterwards, and we just had fun, right?
Yeah.
And that, I think, kind of got the wheels churning, right? And kind of got us back into our swing. And since then, you can't seem to tear us down. I mean, we are taking punches left and right between just the facility maintenance.
Yeah, it's a big building.
We were talking about it the other night, and somebody put it really good. They were like, we had a full house with all these roommates paying all the bills. Now we have the same house, the same bills, and half the roommates. Because genuinely, when the split happened, we lost half of our people. And so we have the same people putting their hands everywhere, trying to help get everything done and trying to like navigate and figure out who we are. But in the middle of all that, every single year we've added at least one new member, right? Every single year we've had somehow, I don't know where they come from, enough kids to do the Christmas play, right? We've had Trunk or Treat saw 200 people this year.
Yeah.
Our
Heck
Easter
yeah.
egg hunt had 70 kids. We hid 3,000 eggs.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's amazing.
I'm in charge.
You did it.
I delegated.
You're a good delegator.
I delegated. But
yeah.
It's just been incredible to see how everyone has kind of found their ways into these pockets and figured out where they shine and what they do well, and genuine care, right? There's been people who hate talking in front of people, don't want to be on a committee, are basically started their own little committee. It's my mom and one other person, okay? And I like to call them the church beautification squad, because they took our ramp and they hung up picture frames all down the ramp, filling them with pictures. We have a wall of crosses now. Like, all of these fun, like, little things that everyone's doing. We have a guy who came in and has started doing a lot of like the outside stuff, so like we don't have to take care of that, right? We have somebody who allowed us to cut back on our janitorial bills, and she's cleaning the church for free. Like, we just have right
That's cool.
So many people still who care about the place and the building and the people, and we show up to things. We went to some Joe's son was Miss Trunchbull and Matilda. We all showed up.
Yeah, he was.
We were there, and I went with my mom, my aunt, a couple other people, and we look across and there's like people that we had no idea that they would have even come to a kids show. Like, and we're just like, yes. Like, there's more community now than I think there was before. There's more laughter. There's still more tension in the what's the best way to do things, the generic church politics and stuff. But this last church council meeting, for the first time in a long time, we started actually talking. Like, there wasn't like one person saying, I'm going to do this. There was back and forth. There was conversation. There was talking it out. And then there was a pause of like, hey, there are people that are not in this room that should be a part of this conversation. Let's table.
Hey, all right now.
And I was like,
let's go.
What? I said, we put on our big boy pants today. Guys,
we're doing it.
Right, we're doing it. So it's just been cool to see everybody kind of like fill in, and no matter what, no matter how much I procrastinate preparing for an event, or we decide last minute to do things. We booked a bouncy house at one point for an event that we decided to cancel. We put the bouncy house on hold. They let us there like indefinitely. Call us when you're ready.
That's
Like
cool.
4 or 5 weeks prior, we're like, we're having a back to school bash. We call, we get the bouncy house, and somehow we got a partnership with DSS and we were able to fill almost 200 backpacks. And what we didn't use, we brought to Parkwood. And so there's just been like, no matter what, there's still abundance. There's still
That's
just good.
right.
And it keeps me coming back.
Yeah.
As somebody who a handful of years ago, if you told me I would be at Epworth 4 to 5 times a week with my name on an office door, I would have
Yeah,
laughed
come
in
on.
your face.
Sure.
And here I am with my name on an office door and a decorated office at that, a lived-in office. And it's just good to see. It's a good time.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of y'all. I think watching again from afar, you navigate and decide, no, this is we're stepping in. We're doing it. And watching your faithfulness to God and God's faithfulness to you has been so apparent, right? Like God is faithful. God is blessing what you're doing, and that, you know, for me is like how you know, right? Like you'll know by the fruit, right? Like that's so clear in scripture. And the fruit is joy, the fruit is love, the fruit is patience, you know, the fruit is perseverance, the steadfastness, all these things. Like you're seeing the fruit of the spirit in the church, and to me that's how you know it's healthy, right? And yeah, we're gonna disagree about like walls and the color of the carpet or whatever we decide is important at the time, but what you're not disagreeing on is the importance and the value of people. That to me is really what it comes down to, is like, yeah, people are going to be seen, loved, heard, believed, accepted, affirmed in this space. And like, for that's it, like that's all we can ask is that. And the rest of it we'll figure out as we go, you know. It's messy and it's hard, and I appreciate you sharing the mess with us, because it's messy, and it's something that you all are gonna have to like, it's like big T trauma that you'll carry forever, right? Like it's not something that you all like, oh, that was hard, moving on. No, that's like something you as the people will carry, and that church will carry forever. And all we can do in those big T trauma moments is point back to like, but the faithfulness of God, because otherwise, yeah, why do it? You know, why stay in?
My fiance and I have been having conversations about church. He's not a big organized religion person. He believes in God, he believes in Jesus, but his biggest pet peeve, and I guess is the best way to put it, is the tithing plate. He's like, why do you tithe to church? And I've yet to get him to like see it. And I was like, it's kind of like a sorority or fraternity, right? This is our chosen family, and in order to keep the lights on and keep the staff paid, we have to pay into it. There can be burnout. I was like, but at the end of the day, that building and those people are my home. They're my people. They're my community, and where I feel the most peace. And that building, the building itself just carries so many memories for me. So many good ones, so many bad ones, so many crazy ones. And you know, I remember doing pew races when I was a kid, and we would go over under, right? So I thought I'd bring that back.
It's a good sanctuary to do that.
Right. I thought I'd bring that back with my kids. The first kid knocks his head and he starts bleeding. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I don't
maybe
be
we
in
won't
charge
do
of
that
that.
anymore.
Maybe not me. But it's just like, no matter the chaos, right? And Camp Chaos is really born out of that. No matter the storm, that building and that church and that family has stayed strong, and they've really carried all of us through. And when we can't get there alone, there's people that step in. I got a text this morning. So we have a chaos squad chat. So this is the people that were originally the adults in charge of Camp Chaos. That's the Chaos Squad. Okay. It's our music director, youth director, myself, my mom, our outreach chair, and then the now church janitor, I guess, if you want to put it. But Mary has her hat in like her hands in like 17 different pots. Okay. I don't know.
Go off,
She does
Mary.
that. She does it all, right?
Yeah.
But literally one of them messaged this morning and she's like, this is a really long text, but I need to know where I can help you guys this week. And by name, she listed everyone out. And because me, Jen, and Lisa have big events coming up, and she's like, can I help you here? Can I help you here? This is what I can offer you. Is that enough? And then at the end, she was like, Jenny and Kristen, I know y'all don't got anything coming up, but I don't want you to feel left out. Can I do anything for you? And
That's nice.
that's the community that we've built. You know, that's
the one.
The people that have stuck around. And I was reading that message this morning. I was like, yep, we've done it. You know, and I don't know that we're ever going to feel like we've truly gotten to the other side of this. I don't know. Some of our kids still go to church with people who have disaffiliated. We still have, I ran into one in the parking lot the other day and like instant, like hot flash. I was like, oh my gosh, well, how do I be kind? Right. And
that's it.
And so I don't know that we're ever going to feel far enough away that we feel healed. In a sense, there's always going to be that empty seat. There's always going to be that, well, when this person was here, we did it that way type thing. But I think that we finally have truly hit this point where we know who we are and we know what we believe and we know what we want to put out in the world, and we're doing that. We're not holding back. We're not faking it. We're not. None of our welcomeness, I feel like now, is faked. It feels very genuine. When you walk in and the greeters greet you, no matter who you are, they genuinely are just glad you're there.
What a gift.
And that's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah. Wow. Well, friend, thank you, first of all, for that. Like, I mean, that's what I crave, is just genuine welcome with no string attached to it, you know? And so that's really cool that you're offering that. Thank you for sticking with it, especially when it's hard. And for, you know, just being reminded of the goodness of God in it. Thanks for, figuring out, I mean, your statement about like you saw people that might have left or hurt you in some way, and that your reaction is, how do I be kind? I think that's the other side of this, right? Like, any of those friends, if I saw them in the wild, right? Like, my hope is that we could love each other, right? And be not just be cordial, but genuinely care how the other one is doing, right? Like, that's the end game of this all, is like, how do we get to a place where it's like, we are disagreeing on some pretty fundamental stuff, but I still love you and want good for you in this world, and want you to succeed, you know? Like, I just I have no ill feeling towards any of those people, or any people that like that left the United Methodist Church as a whole. Like, I want us to coexist, but I also understand like my existing in the world is somehow harmful to them, and so that's, you know, that's okay. Then I just won't be around, you know? Like, I think it's like super simple. And but at the end of the day, we're looking for a place that mirrors the unconditional love of God, and it sounds like you guys are on your way there, you know?
Yeah.
We'll mess up. Cross Connection will mess up. You'll mess up. We're going to mess up. We're going to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. We're going to look back 10 years from now and be like, what? What were we doing?
Why did we do that?
Why did we do it that way? But yeah, that's part of growth. And I'm proud of you for growing. I think it would have been a lot easier for all of you to say, well, that's a wrap.
Right.
That it was good while it lasted. It would have been a lot easier for y'all to do that.
And I think if we had done that, like if we had opted that first summer to not do Camp Chaos, I think that would have been the moment we chose to lie down and give up. That choice to band together as this band of misfits is really what we were, and find a way to not only do camp, but do it for free,
Mm-hmm.
and meet kids where they're at. And now, because now I have a big girl job and I have to be at work during the day, gross.
Mm-hmm.
We do
Mm-hmm.
Camp Chaos at night. And so
Yeah.
Chaos After Dark is what we call it. And we still
Perfect.
have a blast and we still have fun.
Yeah.
And that's still the core of, I think, how we survived. I think if
Yeah.
we hadn't have said, all right, let's strap up our
You
boots and
chose. Yeah,
let's
you chose
go.
joy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you chose joy. You chose what has made that church unique to me since the first time I was in camp with y'all in 2011, right? Was like, this is a place of joy. This is a place that will die on the hill of joy before anything else. Yeah, you chose to keep that quality, and I think that is going to work.
Yeah.
Because
Speaking of joy,
anything built
go
on
ahead.
joy is going to be a lot more fun, than
Yeah.
built on hate. So
I was going to say,
yeah,
speaking of joy, the youth, are having a car wash fundraiser for Virginia,
nice.
except they are required to be in costume, and the
Well, of course.
costume has to be inflatable.
Okay, well, of course, yeah. When is that so that we can make sure to drive our cars through?
May 9th, be there
May 9th.
from
You
10
got
to
it.
12.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
it's just the little things like that, right?
Yeah.
It's a bake sale. It's a little bittersweet for me. We're selling the last of the preschool stuff, right? So we've really made the
Mhm.
decision to sell off the rest of the toys, the rest of the tables, the rest of the chairs. But then the youth, while you're shopping the bake sale and the yard sale, are going to wash your car in inflatable costumes. So we got a
I
T-Rex
think that's
coming.
lovely.
We
Yes.
have a big old Easter egg with bunny ears. We have a guinea pig, a regular
Yeah.
pig. There's so
Oh,
many.
sure.
And I'm so
So May
excited.
9th, and what's the time again?
10 to 12.
10 to 12, May 9th. If you're listening to this, go get your car washed, go buy some stuff and support. Yeah, I'm so grateful that y'all are going to Richmond to open us
Oh
up.
yeah,
I think
I'm
that's pretty
so
cool.
excited.
Yeah, they're going to
That
be
will
so great.
mean if I don't go to Kansas City next year that I haven't been to all of them.
I know, you got to go to Kansas next time.
I know.
You're checking them off.
I told Vernon, I was like, I'm gonna have to hide in your suitcase and go with you
Yeah, come on,
to
go.
Kansas
Yeah,
City.
it's so fun. Caitlin's doing such good work there, and I'm excited for y'all to see the good work Joanne's doing. It's really great, and we're honored to be invited into a new place. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Well, Taylor, thanks for giving us so much of your time, for sharing so much of your story. Yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Jen. I'm proud of all your friends that like hung in and said yes, not just to a building, not just to Epworth as a name, but to Jesus. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you're saying yes to, and that you believe that student ministry. That's the thing that's always been true about your church too. You believe student ministry and children's ministry are the bedrock of the church. Period. They are the folks that matter. I mean, not everybody matters in the church, obviously, but like that's where we're gonna put energy. That's where we're gonna put time, and it's really fun to watch how every intergenerationally at that church and my church, it becomes like, yeah, we're just gonna lift each other up, right? We're gonna end up taking care of one another in this because we value each other's position in this story, and it's pretty fun. So I'm grateful for you, and grateful for this conversation and to learn a little bit today. I appreciate your vulnerability,
Absolutely.
because it's hard, and yeah, it's like I know you well enough to know like neither of us like to show weakness, and so it's hard to feel vulnerable. So thanks for that. I'm really grateful. Well, a huge thanks to Taylor Bodenheimer and just her honesty, her vulnerability to come and to talk to me about that moment at the airport and to talk about really the hurt and the joy that she has found through disaffiliation, through conflict, and just I think what I continue to learn from people that had to go through that is like how long lasting that is and how hard it is to start conversations back up after you've been hurt or after a moment of tension. It's so real, and especially when it runs this deep. And but I'm grateful for her willingness to say like I just want to be kind and want to find common ground. And I think that's the challenge for us. That's what we hope for in this world that is so divided, whether it be over church stuff, whether it be over politics, is how do we get to a place where we can sit down and be together and have real conversation and acknowledge the hurt that we've caused one another, and still find a way to love one another. Is seems impossible some days, but I'm grateful that they are working towards that there, and grateful for that family that took such good care of me in one of the hardest times of my life. I'm grateful for you listening and being a part of this community. I'd love to hear your feedback on this, especially because I know so many of you had to walk that as well. And this is a place that we want people to feel seen and heard and belong. And so if this is a place you need to talk about what you're still walking through and what you're still trying to figure out, we hope to be that for you. This is Cross Connection is a place that has had its ups and downs, just like Epworth, and what we saw through that same season is so similar. But so grateful for the goodness of God and the graciousness of God to allow this thing to keep going. And so thank you so much for being a part of this community. We're in the middle of our One campaign, so we invite you to give to ensure that the summer continues, and just to be a part of this ministry in that way. If you want to come visit camp, we'd love to have you, and see what's going on. If you have time to go to Parkview in Charlotte, I hope that you'll hit Juanfer up and let him know that you're coming, so that we can make sure there's something for you to do, or just to see, or to experience. And we just God is at work, and we're grateful to be a part of it. So we hope that you continue to stay curious, which might be the hardest thing we're asking anyone to do right now, is to stay curious and not get locked down in our beliefs, but instead be open to learn something new from somebody. And I hope that you are in community, whether that's a church community or a community that sits around a table and eats together, whatever your community is. I hope that you have it, and that you're talking, and that you're present in that community, and loving well in that community. And I hope you're finding someone to serve. Thanks for being a part of this community. We are so grateful for you.